Hey guys, this is Turek, and today I'm going to be doing a review of chapter 1119 of One Piece. Um, uh, where to start? Once again, Oda is having us hold our breath with like and attempting to blow our minds with what's going to happen next. And God, I wish he would make the chapters a little longer because it's like every week it's like just a little bit more happens. It feels like we're at a the last the last like 8 chapters or so. We're at the last 100 yards of a track race, a track event, whatever, dash. I used to run in track, but I always did the distance ones. But it's like we are in. I gotta make sure I slow down too. We are in the last 100 yards of a track event, but we're crawling almost toward that finish line that is successfully escaping the Gorosei and Egghead in itself to relative safety. And so in the last chapter, we start seeing let's see. So what that was in yeah, so in 117 and 17, I'm just going to say the numbers. Like, I'm not going to keep doing the full. We're at 1,100 teens right now. Or this one's the last one. Now we're going to 1,120 soon. In 17, uh, the Gorosei had successfully stopped the message, or so they thought, and by knocking the Iron Giant into the ocean. Four of them did this. Everyone except Ethan was there and had gathered up around it. Wait, did was Peter there? Yeah, Peter was there too. I think that's right. So Top Man, Saturn, Peter. I think that's Peter, the youngest looking one, and Ethan's the one who looks like a Wano citizen with the Kitetsu, Shodai Kitetsu. Uh, the and as the robot's going down, we saw like it's definitely was still active, and it was trying to find Joy Boy, and like I said, and I saw others to this too. This is why I like making sure I don't watch other people's reviews before I finish mine because I always know that I don't want to incorporate what they say. And I saw it was a little funny that I was watching Tekking 101's review right afterward, and he said almost the same thing as I did. You could tell we both were thinking similarly enough, like, oh, the robot seemed to be losing sight of Joy Boy, meaning Luffy, because it only could track him when he was uh in his awakened state in Gear 5. So, anyways, it's not that I'm not saying that we're always gonna think alike or anything. It's just that's why I make sure I don't watch anyone's reviews because I want to make sure I try to incorporate this myself. I want to be genuine and think of this stuff myself first, and then watch someone else and see what I missed. Because I always miss something. Because I'm sure there's something in this chapter, for example, that I missed. There's something at the end I don't understand, and I'm gonna see. I have a feeling Teching 101 will know what that is, and I'm very excited to figure that out because I don't get it. Maybe I think it might have something to do with Japanese or something. I was trying to do real research, but anyway, tangent aside, um, uh, yeah, as that happened, so to get to the meat, or what last chapter matters to this one is that the Gorosei then start strategizing how to make sure now that they got rid of the trend. The few chapters from like chapter about 13 through 17 were focusing on the trying to stop the transmission. And now they thought they had it successful. They're trying to figure out, okay, how do we make sure the Straw Hats don't get away? And especially, they want to make sure now that all the other Stellas are destroyed. This was the original plan. This is another. I have to make this one small tangent. Did did the Gorosei really intend to have York killed initially when they sent Cypher Pole Zero to Egghead? Because now they're trying to change that plan to make sure, if that was the plan originally to kill them all, they have modified that to make sure they want to make sure York is still alive. They understand. Who I think I wonder if it was Saturn who might have said that they realize that the uh, Vegapunk's brain can still be used to him, is still can stay alive, even though he's dead. He's got it in such a that container that in the top of Egghead that that Mars went up and found. That Yeah, they're going to keep York alive, and now the other focus they brought up in the last chapter was to try to get rid of the other Stellas. That's where I was going with this. I keep going in circles. Sorry. Um, so yeah, the while they're doing that, the girls, the Straw Hats on the bottom, the Luffy's group is um they are they have successfully regathered together. Luffy was the last one. Sanji and Bonney and Atlas had booked it to get back to the ship, and they made it there, and they've been waiting for Luffy. And now Dory and Bragi got back there with him finally, and they were trying to set off. But and and at the same time, the other Straw Hats are on the top. Did we see them in the last chapter? Because we don't see them in this chapter. I don't know if they show them in the last chapter either. Yeah, but anyways, we know we saw in one of the other chapters, maybe in 16, where they're almost ready to jump off too, and they were, and then Luffy was, not Luffy, Zoro was trying to hold off Ethan. So, anyways, the other Straw Hats on the bottom are about to leave in the last chapter when Mars is catching up to them as they're trying to make sure they don't escape, and we had the finale where Luffy knew he needed help, and he found a way to motivate Bonney into helping him, and she, by using her powers, and I think this has a lot. You know what it is? I just realized I think Bonnie's powers has a lot to do with them. Oh yes, other people said that. Duh, I should remember this. That powers of Bonney have a lot to do with imagination, which is cool because that's also what happens with Luffy. Now that Luffy, especially Luffy's powers, especially now that he's awakened, can do a lot of wacky stuff. And so it seemed like he recognized that in Bonnie's powers, and he got her to transform in a way where she's basically the same form as him. Uh, the most she said, I want to be in a future where I'm the most free. So yeah, we ended the chapter with that, and then right at the very end it was the um, the robot Iron Giant finally it was floating down into the sea, and then it wakes up one more as it sensed. Actually, I think that I still had that speculation, and I'm sure others did. That was it's actually sensing Bonney. I saw those great comments. What was that one? I was watching a video, and it was like making like a references to other shows, like, oh, it's a bargain sale of Joy Boys, or you're a Joy Boy, he's a Joy Boy, we're all Joy Boys, something like that. So sorry, long tangent. That's why I always put timestamps in because I do this. Let's get into this. So in this chapter, we start with Kaku and Stussy. We come back to them, and last we saw them, Stussy was talking with Edison and trying to like get orders for him. Because Stussy has been kind of she's dedicated her life to helping, be in service to the Vegapunk and then his satellites in turn. With Stella dead, she turned to Edison, who was nearby, and was talking with her about how what she should do with her life, and he tried to motivate her, and he he told her like you got to find your own way now, and then she wanted to get Kaku to free Kaku. She wanted permission, which she really didn't need to. Like she still has to learn a long ways to go if she makes it off here to learn how to just think for herself and not always need permission from others, especially the Vegapunk, in certain scenarios. um, so the conversation that happens here is kind of like Stussy trying to Stussy and him. She's trying to like I think she kind of sees him as a friend, and you see here that Kaku is very conflicted here, and he just tells Stussy to leave. He's just kind of standing there, and he's got a very like mournful look. You can't even actually see his eyes though. So I'm looking at different screens too. So he uh Oh yeah. So she must have implied, like, "You're my friend, so of course I'm gonna let you go." And he just like, "Friends? Ha! I can't see you as a friend. I respected you because you're my colleague, and you were a very cold, like calculating person, and like I had to be, and so I think he's trying to get at here, if I'm understanding this translation, is he's thinking I don't want to hurt you, so I'm just gonna have you leave. Otherwise, I would have to try to kill you. And if Lucci comes back, or when he comes back any moment, I won't be able to stop him from doing it. This Dusty's there crying, like she. I'm wondering if she wants like Kaku to go with her, like and or she's just at the very least trying to make amends with him. And Kaku's just in a difficult position here where he's torn between his duty and his occupation, and he probably does see her as a friend. But he can't just tear himself to go with her or whatever. But at the very least, he's not gonna hurt her if she leaves. So she's trying to talk to him, say one more thing, but he yells at her like, "Just get out of here now!" And she yells at her like that. And so that's where we end that with their conversation here. So now we get to the action, and we see Bonney and Luffy together in their awakened forms, or her version of it. I don't know. Is she awakened? Someone was saying that she might be awakened. A comment was speculating that, and that's how her powers. That's a question I still have, because we don't see her. Whenever I see her turn other people into, uh, whenever we've seen some other people be turned into a different age, I don't know if she's always touching them. If she's not, I would speculate too, she is awakened because she can like exude that force, or like maybe just point at them, almost like fire a invisible energy from herself and turn them. Because we saw her do that just now with Bluegrass and Doll. And the first time we saw her use her powers, she was sitting on a roof of a building at Sabaody, and we saw below several other Marines as children or older old age. And but I've seen her do it against when she attacked Vegapunk. She didn't. She used. I think she had a pipe and she just touched him, or did she touch him with her hand? So, anyways, so I'm when I said awaken, yeah. So she's been able. She transforms herself like Luffy. She's looking around like, oh my, she looks elated. I think by using her imagination and seeing, her understanding of Nika, what that Kuma had always told her, she is basically a copy of him, and like she feels the most freedom as she tried to tell her powers to do. uh, so then we get the reaction. We got pirate Marines on the ships nearby, and like, oh, that's Luffy. Look, now he looks like his wanted poster. And then we see a whole bunch of giants together on the crew on the ship, and they're all crying his name with like admiration. They're all just like raising their arms and everything. It's just very wholesome to see them. There's even like a heart drawn next to to show their elation at seeing their god in human form, or in the flesh. That makes me wonder too. I wonder if they have a statue. I bet we'll see a statue when we get to Elbath of what it looks like. I'll be highly interested in seeing that. uh, and so Mars is seeing the two of them, and he's like, two Nikas. This must Bonnie's transformation must be part of the fruit she had, her age fruit. I mean, kind of like, okay, that's still not gonna be enough for to stop me. And he starts firing his breath or laser beam thing at them, and Luffy informs the others like, guys, be careful. This guy, even if we pummel them down, they're gonna get back up. Nothing seems to work on them. Uh, Wait, no. How does that read next? Yeah, okay. So Luffy orders the others to say, so instead of us all like ganging up on him, everyone just attack me and send me flying toward him. And as that's happening, he goes into his balloon style form, and he must be using hockey too. And then he's he's taking the attack from Mars in order to protect the ship. And he's even gotten right in front of where Bonney is, and Bonnie's right behind him. And like, wait, what? You want us to send you flying? Let me just bring this up a little bit. All right, there we go. That'll actually be better. Um, well, there. She likes my drawing stuff, I guess. Uh, and so yeah, so Sanji, Frankie, and are like, oh, all we gotta do is throw you right at it. And Frankie's like, oh yeah, well, give it, all, yeah, give us, we'll give it our, give it our all. Yeah, God, I'm getting tongue tied here. And Bonnie's like, wait, what? We're gonna attack Luffy? How's that gonna help? And while that's happening, what's his name? Is it Dory? Wait, which again? Hold on. Yeah, Bragi. Dory's the tall one. So Dory's like, okay, well, we're gonna leave that guy to you, and we're gonna get out of here. I don't know if he means he'll get out of there, but they're not gonna try and fight now because they're probably gonna focus their efforts on the ship. And while that's happening, though, the other the other crew members on the giant ship are still dancing around to the heartbeat, and Bragi's over there like getting them in line. Like he's got this drill sergeants. You fools, get back in order and get the ship going. uh, but they're like, wait, you guys were dancing earlier. Yeah, but now we all gotta stop and get out of here. And they're all still doing. They still all showing them do the same motion. It's just too much. Uh, uh, how do they do that? So, anyways, yeah, while that's happening, Luffy. So Luffy, where is this up? Bring this way. Come on. Wait, oh, I see. That was the wrong one. Oh, yeah. Just want to bring. I got two translations here. I'm trying to. I want them both up because some are slightly better than the others in certain pages. Uh, so Luffy the Mars here has stopped the attack, his fire attack. That I guess he realized it wasn't working, and Luffy takes this opportunity and gets up close to Mars and grabs him by the wings is holding him, and he yells back to the others, "Hurry and do what I said!" So while I'm still able to hang on to him, and he's all charred up at this point, but he's maintaining his balloon form. Actually, in a note of kind of a neat trivia thing, the way he's drawn right there, where I think he's all burnt up. He actually basically looks, his face looks like the Snake Man, his Snake Man form. So he's grabbing onto Mars, and then Sanji and responds to what wait a minute, that's not the one, is it? Wait a minute. No, I want this one, right? Hold on a sec. Uh, yeah. Okay. So Sanji goes. Bonnie responds to what Bonnie said about her and her surprise at that Luffy's order. And like, yes, Bonnie, when a captain gives the orders, we listen to him, and he gets his Ifrit Giambe. You know, how did I say Giambe? He gets his best kick ready, and then we see Frankie charging up one of his fist attacks, and Bonnie, John like, all right then, and she does a fist attack that's kind of like gear third, like Luffy's gear third, and hockeys it up. I don't think she had to hockey it. And we see the part where we never see like Sanji and Frankie's hit really, but it shows Bonnie punching Luffy right in the back. There, and he reacts, and she calls it "memories right." Remember, kind of like sounds like how Frankie labels his attacks. Uh, wait, here we go. And now, wait a minute. What's going on here? I'll just do it that way. Yeah. um, hold on. There, just getting a double page up. Okay. Wait a minute. So, she hits him, and the first part is funny. He's like, "Ah, that hurts." And Bonnie's like, "Well, what? What?" It's like, "Well, you're using hockey. Of course, it's gonna hurt." But he sucks up the pain. But he uses now. He sucks in air. It looks like, and and prepares his attack. And uh, and Sanji and Frankie, yeah. So they must have. Oh, okay. Did they knock her up there? It's weird because they showed those two charging the attack, but I didn't really see them hit him. So, anyways, Bonnie's the one sending, pushing him, and Luffy uses that inertia, I guess, and he sucks in his stomach, and then he's doing that. Bob, Sanji and Frankie are saying, "Don't let up. Continue. We gotta. This is gonna work." And she's like, "You guys are all crazy," but she listened, and so Luffy sucks in air, I believe, and he uh, releases it at Mars, and he calls it what, a booming dawn balloon, and it sends Mars flying, and uh, it just yeah completely knocks him away. So the idea here really is to get send him so far they can try to escape. So and yeah, we just see him go flying, and then in the next panel, they're like it just shows him ding. It kind of has that little Team Rocket effect. That look him being so sent miles and miles away, and some people are commenting, "All right, we looks like it's gone. That should buy us some time to get out of here." Yeah. Then the Giants, I think it's one of the Giants that say like, "All right, let's get going then." And actually, I still see some rain ships nearby, but it looks like they're. I wonder if these ones have given up, like trying to. Oh, well, there's like, given up trying to fight the ship at this point. And now, so now the next part is, yeah, Luffy goes down to Sanji and he's like, "Hey, wait a minute, what about Usopp and the others?" And Sanji's like, they were tells him like, "Yeah, they were most supposed to meet us right here, but they seem like they're late." And uh, so Atlas here at this point volunteers to go check on what's going on with them. Uh, and she runs off. I think what's going on here is Atlas is maybe intending to. I don't know if she's intending to stop York, but I think she's worried because is able to track where they are because they're connected to Punk Records. That's why she might be leaving the ship, and she starts communicating, I think, with Lilith through like their connection, and she's like, starts talking to Lilith, but we never get to see what she actually says. I mean, except she says to Lilith, "Yeah, York is monitoring us." Actually, I also wanted to stop there because I was I realized that if York told Gorosei in the last chapter that Lilith and your Atlas were the only other two connected to Punk Records, so that does sound like Addison could be dead, or at the very least, maybe if they're passed out, they're still they don't disconnect their connection to the Punk Records. Uh, but we don't see what that ends up with that, and then we don't see either. Like I said earlier, is where Zoro's group, Nami and Zoro's group, what's going on there. My only guess is that Ethan came back and is giving them trouble, uh, uh, hindering their attempts to escape. So bring this a little bit. So we jump to the Iron Giant, and we see inside of it briefly that it's the Denden Mushi is still alive and is continuing the message of wait, I'm getting weird. I'm reading these translations. So it's showing part of what Vegapunk's saying, and the one I'm reading here is like, such does not exist. Or well, of the sorts. Nothing of the sorts. Okay, so something, yeah. And so at this point, the Denden Mushi is regaining consciousness. It looks like it merely got bumped and bruised and knocked out, and now it regains consciousness. And we jump to Totland, and we can see the back of Katakuri here. And actually, I can't. Those are some of. Oh yeah, is that Pero Sparrow? I think you can see his back too. And there we jump to them, and at this point, Oda shows us that the broadcast is coming back on, and we see them watching on their large monitor. And wait, do we show to other people? I think we do. Yeah, we jump around to other people too, and he starts going on about something about calling something a will, and we just see the reactions of other people. We see Vivi and Morgan's. Yeah, I think these people start realizing too that he no wait, was that because okay, no. Maybe I'm reading the one translation said he revived, but I think that's a bad one. I think this one, yeah, but this one where people are commenting, "Oh, it's back on." It's wait, maybe it's just a bad signal, and that's when what why it happened before because they were all starting to speculate that he got killed though by Luffy. Let's see here now. Oh, let's see here now. So as that comes back on, York hears it, and she starts communicating to the girls, uh, and she starts informing that you guys unfortunately only stopped the transmission temporarily, uh, and she starts explaining like uh, the circuits are still working, or it still must be. You must not have destroyed it. I think is the best way to read these translations. And she's saying you have to make sure you break it entirely or it won't work. Uh, and Vegapunk starts continuing on. And one translation here reads, I hope this message will reach, and the other reads, and to those who have suffered for this. And I only hope that my voice can reach you to those who have pledged to the cause. Why is it written that way? This is a problem with different translations. Now they're getting a little weird because they're almost entirely different. Oh, I've reached this message. Uh, anyways, as we do that, we get a brief scene of that guy. I don't know his name right now. I should. He's that one. He was in a little chapter in the East Blue. This guy was trapped in a treasure chest, and he's there with his lady friend, and they're dancing around together while this is happening. So I don't know if they're able to listen to this. I don't know if they would have a Denden Mushi. I thought they were on an island that was completely uninhabited of other humans. Um, we get back to the action now, and the as the ships as the pirates as we get back to seeing the giant ship go away, and suddenly all those Cypher Pole agents we saw earlier flying that got sucked up by Peter are suddenly falling from the sky again, and along with the Seraphim. And what we see here is that Peter erupts from the ground at the shoreline, and he's like just blowing those guys back out. But fortunately, a lot of them are ending up right over the marine ships nearby, and we start seeing them catch the agents and stuff as they fall to keep them from getting harmed. Um, and then we go over to Bragi on the ship, and he's like, "Oh, great, that thing's gonna come for us. We gotta start booking it more, so to create some distance from it." Meanwhile, Luffy's right there next to him, just bouncing on his back again. Wait a minute, come on. Uh, but the Peter here has different plans, and he starts sucking at Luffy's ship, and he's doing it so well. He's actually pulling back the entire giant ship, as well as like the Marines, and you even got the water. So you see kind of getting tussled and wavy, and and the pirates are commenting. Dory Bragi probably, even with our distance we've put between it, it's pulling us back. And one of them orders the other giants like, get the sails down now and get the oars out quickly. We have to put some distance between it. Um, so Luffy takes the initiative here to try and help, and he rushes at Peter and gives him and punches him across the face with a big hockey fist. And we see the other giants say, "Yeah, get him, Nika." And we switch briefly to Doll actually, and she's like, "What the frick's going on? A giant white monster and cipher pole agents raining from the sky? Even dreams. This is not, even dreams aren't that wild. No, yeah, something like that." So now we switch to the last pages of the chapter, and the top man comes back to try to assist with uh assist Peter, and he rushes past. So Luffy's still trying to fight Peter, and Top Man just rushes past to try and go after the ship. Because now it looked like Peter's successfully got the ship closer to the land than where it was before, where he can leap. He's going to try and leap at it. Uh, and so and Luffy's like, "Oh crap, he's coming, guys! Be careful!" Uh, and he's warning others, "Careful, his skin's tougher than it looks." And Bragi too is like ordering the people. Uh, Bragi's like, "Yeah, don't. We can't mess with this thing. If he hits the ship, we'll get obliterated." Uh, and so as that's happening, there we switch last to Bonney, and we see that she's has returned to her child form, like her regular form, I should say, because she's is a child, not that adult form she's usually using. Actually, that's something too. Does that mean she can't how often can she stay in that adult form? Because usually using your powers like that has some kind of stamina drain. I mean, she's that's something too. The way since she can transform, I'm just saying that no, she can't. You can't really classify. I was thinking that can you classify that almost as a zone? I was thinking about zone users, and I'm wondering, well, Luffy's a zone, but he's a unique one too, and he can't stay in his transformed awakened too long. I was thinking about other zones like Drake or Chopper, and wondering how long they can stay transformed into other forms, their larger forms, and their hybrid forms and whatnot, like Drake when we saw Drake's hybrid form. We saw that Kaido could stay in his for quite a while. Anyways, Sanji's checking in on her. I know. I can't wait for him to find out she's just a little kid. He probably just thinks, oh, she's just so weak. She turned, and she just shrunk like Luffy did when he used his Gear Third back in before the time skipped. And he's just checking on her, and she's like, I can't do it anymore. Freedom is too exhausting. And so as the uh we have this moment where we're thinking that Top Man's gonna crush the back of the pirate ship, the giant ship. I should just keep saying I keep saying pirate ship because I'm trying to differentiate from uh the marine ships nearby. But as he's bearing down on them, he like we see him like leap in the air and he's heading right for them with his ready to crush it. Uh, we hear a voice of the Iron Giant, and it says "Joy Boy," and it calls out to Luffy, I guess. And Luffy hears it and looks down at the water, and we see it rise out of the water. And the Giants are like, "What the heck is that?" The Giants, we see Dorian Bragi's face, like, "Wait, what the frig is that? It's bigger than us." And he comes out of the water right between the ship and Top Man, and he uses like that's his left hand. He does a left hook right into Top Man, and he actually crushes one of the tusks right off. And there's this line like, "Listen carefully, Emeth, the time will come, or the time is at hand." And what he says, he's saying at the time. Wait, what responds to that? Is that the girl say the time? Someone responds back, "The time will come," and then we see Doria. We get Dorian Brocky's face again, but this time their eyes have popped out, and like, what in fuck is that again? Like they had. That's funny. He had in the right side of the double spread. He had their expression, but their mouths were just gape. But this time he adds the eye effects in this next one, and when he's getting Luffy's response, uh, and he's excited. He just gets those bright eyes, and he's like, "A robot, yeah." Oh, there's gonna be a break next week, of course. Well, I got other videos to do anyways. um, holy shit! I feel my heart rate going just from reading this out like this. Yeah, end of the chapter. That was a short one. That was like only 13 pages, I think. So I forgot to mention in the beginning, the name of the chapter is that name the robot says to Top Man. And I don't know, when I was trying to research that on a character of that, I only thing I found was a character from uh, one of C.S. Lewis's books. Um, anyways, I don't know what that. I'm wondering if he's referencing this if that's Top Man's actual name, or if he's referencing Emu. Maybe that's Emu's actual name. So there's a lot there to break down, and that's why I was saying earlier. I'm excited to see what Teching and other reviewers make of that. If any of them recognize something I don't regarding that name. So there's a lot happening here. Unfortunately, I was just a little disappointed because I didn't get to see Bonney punch one of the Gorosei in the face. I was hoping for her to have a little more action in that regard. Instead, we followed Luffy's strategy here and ended up him using that balloon attack. His so it's very similar. Is that what he called it? What did he call it when, like when he fought Cracker? He used something like that too. In that case, he was gear fourth, and he had eaten all this food, so he was a giant balloon because he was still digesting, and he pulls Cracker. Somehow he used his stomach muscles to pull Cracker in, and then pushes him out and sends him flying for miles as well, all the way to Big Mom's castle. I think they were on the same island at the time, so it was just across the island, but it was a huge distance. Cracker went through trees and maybe a mountain or two or a hill or two, and that really is where like Big Mom would come enraged there. But anyways, that we all know that one. But he did the same thing here, but he had by having Sanji, Frankie, and her attack him. It added some. He used it to add some kind of inertia. Not inertia. Is that the right word? Propulsion. I didn't think of the right word. And then to really send Mars flying. So he probably went way further than anything like we saw with Cracker, and that was already an impressive attack. The way Luffy had done that to dispose of Cracker. What else here? We get a little closer here to my screen. What was the other thing I wanted to comment on? So it's nice too. It was interesting to see that the Cypherpole agents are still alive. I thought they were going to be dead when I was surprised Peter. Like, I don't get how Peter kept them alive inside of his mouth, maybe. But thankfully, them and the Seraphim. Yeah, we see one of the bubbles of the Seraphim. Can't quite make out which one it's supposed to be. I was thinking it was a Hancock's, but he draws in such a small, almost scribble, I can't make out. But you can tell the bubbles there, and one of the officers of Marines right there even comment, "Oh, the Seraphim are dropping down too." Oh, I noticed too. I didn't really notice when Luffy's watching the Peter do that. He's just laughing. Oh, he's the way he's ejecting the people out of there. It makes it look like a water fountain, and he's just laughing away again at the sight of that. And yeah, we're starting to get little bits and pieces of Vegapunk's message again, but we still can't quite figure out what it is he's really saying. I hope this message reached those who have pledged the cause. I'm thinking what he means there is um the will of D, the clan of D people. Um, we won't know right now, I think. Uh, so interestingly too, when we shows the Denden Mushi inside, it looks like he's in a very spacious. Okay, they shows a little voice box of it come from inside the Iron Giant's shoulder. Yeah, it looks like it's in his shoulder. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So the next thing too, I wonder what's gonna happen with Atlas. Is she gonna? I have a feeling she's gonna go back and stop York. I bet we're gonna see a brief fight at some point between her and York in order to stop York from you know revealing the location and such. Um, she's contacting Lilith. So we don't know what she's probably going to make a plan with Lilith to stop her. I'm worried. I'm just worried now if they'll both end up staying. I'm really hoping that one of these satellites would get away with the Straw Hats, but this is very concerning to me that Atlas. But it is good though. I'm glad that we saw that one of the other two realize that York is tracking them now. They probably can see. They're probably like paying attention. Oh wait, I can sense York's back connecting to the thing. The only thing I see with that though is, um, if they can sense that, I'm surprised they never got suspicious about York. Like I'm wondering if she like just how she would just they don't she's oh that's right, no mind. Vegapunk said they only would have to connect once a day. So I was trying to think how they didn't notice York was like not relaying information anymore, and if they would have got suspicious that she was up to something because she started contacting the Gorosei. But if they only have to communicate once a day, I guess that kind of answers my own question. Now that I remember that she would just when she's not uh, uploading anything to the brain, she could just walk somewhere quietly somewhere, maybe go in that area, the junkyard area, and use a Denden Mushi to talk to the Gorosei because no one else really seemed to go in there except maybe Vegapunk himself, the Stella now and then when he wanted to look at the look upon the Iron Giant there when it was inactive. um, oh, and this thing with Stussy, yeah. Now I'm just wondering if now that Stussy looks like she's leaving, I'm hoping she'll catch up to the Straw Hat. She's on top there, so maybe she can catch up with Nami and Zoro's group over there. Uh, and we still haven't seen Lucci in a long time either. We don't know where he is. We last saw when Mars and him were talking, but at least we know. And yeah, that'll be something I'm really interested in. I want to know what Kaku. I think I already said that. Look, I'm thinking Kaku will leave the Cipher Pulse someday. I think he has to know that. It's like this is just dumb for him to stay there. It just the job isn't worth it. I know it's the life you know, but it's like maybe he's gonna realize how little he means to them. I know Lucci seems like he never will. I'm hoping Lucci somehow learns that someday too. I think it's just gonna take him longer if he does. Uh, that's about it, probably. Yeah, it was really cute to see. This is so funny too to see Luffy and Bonney and hit it form like that. Cause we know, I know that Oda has done that before, where he draws characters in other. He did that with the Straw Hats, right? Where he drew them in, if they were a different gender from what they are. And I mean, he did that with Law just recently too, where that one guy, the other captain among Doc, what's his name? The Doc from under Blackbeard's command had that ability, and he turned the crew members of Law's ship into the other sex, the other gender, and Law. He got that great shot, and it was in the anime now where Law is in a female form. It was funny. So seeing Bonney, like seeing that Bonney can do it herself was cute. Though that was something else I wanted to bring up. I wonder if I'm thinking because Bonnie's only 12 now, as she gets older, uh, would she be able to use this form stuff like this much longer? Um, I was thinking because people talk about how her powers are related to imagination, and as she gets older, she may not. As adults, we often don't use our imagination and think and dream the same way as we do when we're kids. That could diminish her powers, but as I think otherwise. If someone is able to be captivated by the world and not be so not melancholy, but if she retains that childhood uh, uh, view on life, even as she gets older, she probably can expand these powers and make very good use of them in the ways we've seen now and perhaps others, and also use a form like this to um, become stronger, basically, and maintain the power longer. Because we only see her use it. This is, I imagine, it's only a few minutes or more of her using it, and then she has to she transformed back and it went right just to her normal form, which means her child. Now, because now we learned now that the form we've always been seeing her has that looks like a young adult, which is her transforming that way in because she wants to be an adult. Is that how she wanted? She wanted to be an adult sooner, so the power worked in her favor then. Uh, and Yeah, I think that's about it for today. Yeah, I'm just worried about the other straw hats. I'm thinking because the way Oda's been going back and forth, we'll probably see what's happening with other straw hats in the next chapter. He just had to spend more time this one focusing on this. He focused on the fight here, and then he had to get us back up to speed with Stussy and Kaku. So there wasn't time to see the other straw hats yet, but we'll probably see them soon. Uh, so yeah, that's probably it for today. Uh, Thanks for watching.